Claire, I made you a bowl of calming soup. Drink it before you go to bed. Vera the housekeeper walked in with a bowl in her hands looking at me with concern. As I looked at the familiar bowl, I became certain I'd been reborn back to 2 months ago. In my previous life, I drank that soup without a second thought. My mind was preoccupied with the exam the next day, so I ignored the flash of malice in Vera's eyes. After finishing the soup, I closed the door as usual. Before going to sleep, I reviewed my study notes one last time and then shut my eyes. But when I woke up, I realized something was off. My body had changed, and I wasn't in my own home anymore. Just as confusion washed over me, Vera walked in with a smile and asked if I wanted to know what had happened. Before I could respond, she started explaining everything on her own. She said it was a secret recipe from her hometown, one that could only be used once in a person's lifetime. If 2 people drank the soup at the same time, their souls would swap bodies for 3 days. After 3 days, everything would return to normal, each returning to their original body. At first, she had dismissed the idea as strange and pointless. What could you really change in just 3 days? Everything would go back to the way it was. But after she came to work at my house and learned about my excellent academic performance, she suddenly saw potential in this recipe. She made up her mind and successfully swapped my soul with her daughter Amanda's, who was about to take the college entrance exam with me. She threatened me either help Amanda pass the exam, or she would ruin my reputation while wearing my face. Left with no choice, I reluctantly agreed, planning to figure things out later. I thought, worst case scenario, I'd take the test again next year and still get into a good school. But what I didn't expect was that while I kept my promise, they didn't keep theirs. Amanda not only handed in a blank paper, but also insulted the proctor in front of everyone. Her behavior was so outrageous that it drew anger from all the students in the room. Security dragged her away. By the time the 3 days ended and I returned to my body, the punishment had already been finalized. I was banned from taking the exam for 3 years due to serious disruption of exam discipline and blacklisted by many top universities. No matter how I tried to explain, no one believed me. They thought I was crazy. When the exam results came out, Amanda got into Tsinghua University, just as planned. Vera flaunted her daughter's acceptance letter everywhere, while disparaging me, saying I had cheated my way to good grades for years. My parents were heartbroken and disappointed in me. They kicked me out of the house. With the little money I had left, I rented a small place. After countless failed job interviews, I gave up and ended my life. Now that I've come back, I swear I'll change my fate. But there's still one thing I need to figure out. Why did Amanda do that in the exam room, knowing it would destroy my life? Before all this happened, we barely even knew each other. Though we attended the same school, our classrooms were on different floors, and we hardly ever crossed paths. Even if she didn't want to help me, just turning in a blank sheet would have been enough. Why go out of her way to ruin me like that? I hid my suspicions and gave Vera a smile. All right, thanks, Vera. I'm still studying. Just leave the soup here, I'll drink it in a bit. I took the bowl and casually placed it on my desk. But even after I turned around, Vera didn't leave. Pretending to be puzzled, I asked, something else, Vera? No, she waved her hand nervously. Claire, you really should drink that while it's hot. It won't taste good cold. Clearly uneasy, she glanced back at the bowl a couple more times before reluctantly leaving the room. I shut the door but didn't move away. I stood still, listening carefully. The footsteps that had been walking away suddenly circled back and stopped outside my door. So Vera wanted to make sure I drank the soup. But that wouldn't be a problem. Moving slowly and silently, I crept to the window. I tapped it twice. Soon, a white figure appeared, agile and light on its feet. It squeezed through the crack of the half-open window and rubbed against my chest, purring softly. It was a stray cat that often wandered nearby. I had named it Luna. My mom was allergic to cats, so I couldn't keep Luna at home. I just fed her every day without fail. Even though she still roamed the streets, we had formed a deep bond. As I stroked her soft fur, I whispered my thanks in my heart, then fed the bowl of calming soup to Luna. Luna trusted me deeply. After sniffing the bowl briefly, she licked it clean without hesitation. The moment she finished, a knock sounded at the door, followed by Vera's voice from outside. "Claire, have you finished the soup? I want to take the bowl." "I've finished it." I gently patted Luna, who seemed to understand. She leapt back to the window and disappeared outside. By the time I opened the door again, Luna was gone. Outside the door, Vera's eyes lit up when she saw the empty bowl. Her nearly invisible eyes squinted into a pleased smile as she reminded me, "Claire, don't stay up too late studying. You've got your exam tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, are you confident about your college entrance exam this time? I bet getting into Tsinghua or Peking University should be no problem, right?" "Well, I wouldn't say that, Vera." I gave a half-hearted smile and replied, "Anything could happen during the exam. All I can promise is that I'll try my best." "No worries, Claire. You're Vera, believe in you. You've got this." She looked way too excited, as if my success would somehow benefit her personally. I pretended not to notice her strange enthusiasm, casually brushed her off, and closed the door. The next morning, accompanied by my parents, we drove to the exam site. As soon as we arrived, I spotted two familiar figures, Vera and Amanda. This time, Vera looked slightly different from my last life, more anxious, with a hint of confusion. She kept talking non-stop, barking orders at Amanda. Amanda, on the other hand, looked dazed, occasionally lowering her head to lick her palm. Just as we were about to head into the exam building, Vera suddenly shouted, "Shit. Don't tell me Claire's turned into an idiot." With that shout, every head turned toward her. My parents, having vaguely heard my name, stopped her to ask what was going on. "It's nothing, nothing. I was just muttering to myself, you must have misheard." Vera quickly denied. But when her gaze met mine, she began blinking rapidly, as if trying to signal something. I understood the cue and blinked back at her. She visibly exhaled in relief, then turned to glare at Amanda. "Hey. I'm talking to you. You better take this exam seriously. You know what'll happen if you don't get a good score. Vera, the child's about to go in. Don't stress her out right now, it might affect her performance," my dad stepped in gently. Hearing my father's voice, Amanda looked up at me. Then, without warning, she pushed through the crowd and walked straight toward me. I knew it was Luna who recognized me and wanted to get close. But in Vera's eyes, this was Amanda's body, and she assumed I had gone into a rage at seeing my original body again, trying to confront her. Before I could react, Vera grabbed Amanda and shouted, "Claire. You go on ahead, I just need a quick word with Amanda." I didn't say anything, just nodded and followed the stream of students into the school gates. After finding my assigned classroom and passing the security check, I entered the exam room smoothly. Looking around at the familiar setting, I knew I had finally returned to the battlefield that rightfully belonged to me. In my previous life, trapped in an unfamiliar body, I had only managed to maintain a basic level of performance. Even so, I had scored high enough to get Amanda into Tsinghua. This time, the test was the exact same paper as before. I had already identified my weak spots and spent the entire previous night drilling them. I believed I could do even better this time. As I sat waiting for the exam to begin, I suddenly heard a commotion at the door. Something seemed to be going wrong nearby. "Shinran, what's going on over there? Why all the noise?" The proctor by the door called out to another teacher passing by. "Oh, it's nothing, just a student who can't find her way, wandering around the hallway." This happens every year. I wonder what kind of teachers they have at that school, sending such clueless kids here to cause trouble. No kidding. And get this, she seems mentally challenged or something. No matter what people ask, she doesn't respond. She even tried to eat her exam pass. Can you believe that? Someone like that sitting an exam? She'd be better off staying at home. For real? The proctor sighed deeply. Well, tough luck for the students stuck in the same room with her. Anyway, I've gotta go. Time's almost up. With that, the other teacher turned and left. I heard every word. And instinctively, I knew the student they were talking about was Amanda. Or rather, Amanda's body currently holding Luna's soul. As guilt crept into my heart, it wasn't for Amanda. She had earned her punishment fair and square for what she did in my last life. What I truly worried about were the other students sharing her exam room. After all, Luna was just a cat, no matter how obedient or intelligent she was. She was still a feline, a creature with limited patience. Each subject in the college entrance exam could last for hours, and I was worried Luna wouldn't be able to sit still that long. But at the moment, there was no better solution. Staying focused on myself was the key. As for the rest, all I could do was pray for calm on that end. But soon enough, just half an hour into the exam, my worries became reality. I had just finished shading in the answers for the multiple choice section when a commotion suddenly erupted from a few classrooms over. Immediately after, there were screams. Oh my God! What are you doing, student? Stay off the desk. Hearing the shouts, even our invigilators were visibly shocked. But they were professionally trained, reacting quickly, slamming the classroom doors shut and ordering everyone to stay quiet and focus on the exam. The disturbance lasted less than a minute before security arrived and restrained the troublemaker. Just as I had suspected, when the security staff passed by our classroom, I saw the person being held by two guards, Amanda. She looked agitated, eyes full of defiance, thrashing and shouting as she struggled to break free. Luna was still a stray at heart, skittish by nature. Even though she had grown gentler toward humans since I began feeding her, she still instinctively wanted to escape when treated roughly. A deep sense of guilt welled up inside me. I even began to doubt whether what I had done was right. If I'd known it would turn out like this, I'd have poured the soup down the drain. This way, Luna ended up suffering for no reason. I shook my head, forcing myself to calm down. Thankfully, it was only 3 days. I'd make it up to Luna with a few extra cans of cat food afterward. She was in a human body now, so she wouldn't be easily mistreated. Food and water shouldn't be a problem, but I couldn't help wondering where the security team would send her. If she ended up in front of Vera, and Vera somehow found out the truth, would she come after me again? Suppressing the swirl of emotions inside me, I did my best to focus and finish the exam paper. When the bell rang, I handed my sheet to the invigilator and walked out of the exam room. On my way out of the school, I ran into the security guards who had taken Luna earlier. Curious, I slowed down and eavesdropped on their conversation. Hey, where did you guys take that student from this morning? Where else could we take her? We couldn't just throw her out with all those reporters outside. So what did you do? Gave her a separate classroom to take the test. Special case, special treatment. I think there's something wrong with that kid. Seems like she loses it when there are too many people around. We put her alone in a room, and she quieted down right away. The older guard let out a long sigh. She didn't even write anything, just slept. But better that than screaming in the exam hall. It's only 3 days. We'll just get through it. Hearing their conversation brought me a wave of relief. It seemed Luna hadn't been mistreated, and that was all I could hope for. Because I spent some time eavesdropping, I left the school gate a bit later than usual. Since my parents were busy with work, they'd booked a hotel room nearby for me and had Vera waiting outside for me. When I didn't see Amanda, I asked where she was. Your mom told that little beast to go home. No need for her to be an eyesore around us. Vera clearly thought I was her daughter Amanda. She even started referring to herself as mom when speaking to me privately. I didn't correct her. Playing dumb was the safest move for now. We were just about to head toward the hotel when a white figure suddenly leapt out at me, aiming straight for my face. Amanda. Watch out. Vera reacted instantly, throwing up her arm to block the attack. Once the chaos settled, we finally saw clearly. The attacker was none other than Luna, the stray cat I had been feeding. Or rather, Luna with Amanda's soul inside her. Meow. The stray cat's growls continued. Even from a distance, I could see the fierce hatred burning in her eyes. You damn cat. What are you doing here? Vera had seen me feed Luna before, so she remembered the cat. From her reaction, I guessed she had recognized Luna. She must have been wondering why the stray that usually stuck to me suddenly appeared near the test site and with so much hostility. Suddenly, she seemed to realize something. She screamed at Luna, I'm warning you, you damn beast. Get lost and stay out of the way. Keep acting up and I'll skin you alive myself. Once Claire comes back, she'll be the one cleaning up your corpse. Hearing her own mother shout those words, Amanda, inside Luna's body, froze on the spot. Her feline eyes welled with tears, and her angry stance softened. She began meowing plaintively at Vera, her voice full of sorrow. The meow was different this time, raspy, filled with endless grievance. Wow. Didn't think this cat was so human-like. Vera mistook Luna's response as fear from her earlier threat. No wonder Claire likes you. I find you quite endearing too. If you've got nowhere to go, why don't you come home with me? I'm in a good mood, I might even give you something to eat. Hearing that, Amanda might have thought her own mother had figured something out. She eagerly nodded her little cat head and quickly leapt onto Vera's shoulder, rubbing against her affectionately. All right. Stop rubbing. You're all fur. Vera was clearly pleased, reaching up now and then to stroke Luna's head as we made our way from the test center to the hotel. Once we reached the entrance, I saw Amanda, now with Luna's soul, crouched on the steps. Her eyes scanned the passing crowd. The moment she spotted us, she sprang up and let out a deep, low growl from her throat. I was wondering how she'd managed to find the hotel when suddenly my dad stepped out from the side. Vera, you brought Claire back? Yes, Claire's brother. Didn't you say you were going back to the office? Why'd you come to the hotel? Couldn't stop worrying about Claire? Vera's expression tightened slightly as she tried to look sweet. Not exactly. A business partner of mine is also staying at this hotel. I came by to discuss a contract and just happened to wait out front for a bit. Turns out I saw Amanda wandering nearby, so I brought her along. What? At the mention of Amanda's name, Vera froze for a second, then her whole body stiffened. Ah, thank you, Claire's brother. Amanda didn't say anything strange on the way here, did she? Nope. Amanda was very well behaved. Anyway, I've got to head back to the office now. Lunch is already taken care of, just bring the kids in and eat. Ah. Sure. Safe trip, Claire's brother. Vera let out a clear sigh of relief. Once Dad's car slowly pulled away, Vera's demeanor changed in an instant. She turned her vicious gaze on Amanda, now with Luna's soul. You damn little brat. I told you to go back to the hotel. What were you doing wandering around like that? Trying to accidentally bump into your dad? Let me tell you something. In your current state, even if you went crying to your parents, no one would believe you. Everyone would think you're crazy. You'd better focus on getting through the rest of these exams. One more stunt, and I won't be so nice. With that, Vera suddenly grabbed Luna from her shoulder. In the next second, she yanked the stray cat in front of her and with a brutal twist, one of Luna's front legs snapped with an audible crack. A blood-curdling howl pierced the air. Annoyed by the noise, Vera gripped the cat's neck with one hand and squeezed her mouth shut with the other. Shut up, you damn beast. Keep screeching and I'll kill you right here. Seeing the stray in her hands go silent, Vera turned her eyes to Amanda, still in Amanda's body but with Luna's soul. See that? That's what happens when you don't behave. She flashed a smug, triumphant smile. Let me remind you, don't forget whose body you're in right now. If you don't obey, when the time comes, I'll have Amanda do something accidental with your body. Let's see how well you live after that. Be smart and do exactly as you're told. I don't want to repeat myself again. And I know how fond you are of this filthy animal. I'm breaking one of its legs as a warning. If you screw up this exam, the other 3 won't last either. And when I'm done, I'll skin her and leave her pelt on your pillow, so you can have nightmares every single night. Just wait and see. With that, Vera dragged me toward the hotel entrance by the hand. The stray cat in her grip had gone quiet either from the pain or sheer exhaustion, tongue hanging out, panting heavily. I felt a wave of concern. Not for Amanda in Luna's body, but for Luna herself. What would she do when she returned to her own body and found her leg broken like this? How could she go on living normally? Regret hit me like a wave. If I had known things would unfold like this, I never would have fed her that soup. Lost in thought, we reached the hotel entrance when Vera suddenly came to a stop. She hid the stray behind her and began looking around, clearly searching for a bag to conceal the cat. I understood immediately, she was worried they wouldn't let the animal into the hotel. I pointed to the sign at the entrance that read Pet-Friendly Hotel. Dad had made the reservation himself, knowing I loved animals. Though I'd never kept pets at home because of Mom's allergies, he always prioritized my comfort when we were out and only booked pet-friendly hotels. Seeing the sign, Vera breathed a sigh of relief and gave me a thumbs up. That's my girl. You don't even need to speak, you just get your mama. That compliment brought me no joy whatsoever. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. On the morning of the 4th day, the moment I opened my eyes, I was startled by the scene before me. Blood was splattered all over my desk. Luna's severed limbs lay scattered around, her lifeless eyes wide open in resentment, staring at me like I was her worst enemy. A chill ran down my spine. Fighting off the sorrow and heartache, I slowly approached the desk. I didn't need to think hard, just a little deduction and I knew exactly who did this. I couldn't understand. Everything had gone smoothly the past 3 days, so why did Vera still do something so cruel to Luna? She was just a stray cat, she had no conflict of interest with Vera whatsoever. Was it really just to mess with me emotionally? A wave of fury surged through me. Unable to calm down, I stormed out the door. Outside, neither of my parents were home. Only Vera was downstairs, loudly video chatting in the living room with some relatives. Hey. Sis. Let me tell you, my Amanda is going to score over 700 this time. You think she can get into Tsinghua or not? Vera, oh please. Amanda? Tsinghua? Why not just say she's taking a rocket to space? Sis, I'm serious. Let's make a bet. Sure. You name the stakes. I'll bet the houses I have back in our hometown. Hearing that, the person on the other end scoffed with disdain. Vera, you haven't lived there in ages. Those houses are practically overrun with weeds by now. Betting those? Are you joking? Then she continued with full certainty, I bet Amanda's results will be a complete disaster. You're just playing around here. Vera instantly got agitated. Then I'll bet this apartment in the city. And all my savings, hundreds of thousands. Carol. You in or not? Hearing Vera say Carol's name, I suddenly understood why she was so worked up. Before all this, I'd had a decent relationship with Vera. When school wasn't too busy, we would talk sometimes. She told me she and her second sister Carol had been rivals their whole lives. As kids, they competed over food and toys. As adults, it was salaries and husbands. Now that they were older, it was all about whose kid was better. Unfortunately, Vera's daughter Amanda had always been a troublemaker, usually ranked at the bottom of her class. That had left Vera utterly humiliated. She hadn't dared return to her hometown in years. No wonder her old houses had been overtaken by weeds. Now it all made sense why Vera would go to such extremes with the soul swap. At the core of it all, it was just about pride, about getting the upper hand. But to sacrifice someone else's future, even their life, just to win a petty rivalry? That was truly vicious. With that thought, I walked straight up to her before she could hang up the call and immediately confronted her about Luna. Seeing me, Vera looked momentarily surprised. Then she casually brushed off the person on the other end of the call and ended it, her eyes now locking onto me like a venomous snake. "Oh, it's you. What? Saw the little gift your auntie left for you?" "Vera. Why would you do something like that? Luna had nothing to do with any of this. Why take it out on a cat?" "Why?" "Because that filthy beast scratched me." As she spoke, Vera rolled up her sleeve and revealed a shallow scratch. The mark was fresh, clearly from a recent injury. "And besides, it's just a stray cat. So what if I killed it?" "Claire, you wake up early just to come yell at me over a cat? Really?" She narrowed her eyes and gave me a sinister smile. "Claire, enjoy your smug little attitude while you still can. Just wait till those exam results come out, you'll have your hands full." Just as she finished speaking, a familiar meowing echoed from the front door. It was Luna's voice, but something about it felt slightly off. Vera was quicker than me. She walked over and opened the door. When she saw who was outside, she visibly relaxed. "Amanda? What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you to rest at home?" Amanda glanced coldly at Vera, then turned to me and let out another cat-like meow. Before I could react, Vera exploded. "Amanda. I told you to quit that stupid meowing. So I killed the cat right in front of you. What, now you're mimicking its sounds just to annoy me? You're driving me crazy. Enough. Get lost. Go home. Stop hanging around here, I still have relatives to call." With that, she pushed Amanda away harshly. Amanda's body was forced to retreat, but she kept looking back at me, her gaze was strangely pleading. My mind went blank. Suddenly, a strange idea took root in my head. If it's really true, then karma must have come for Vera after all. What goes around, comes around. The following 2 weeks passed peacefully. Then one morning, as I was watching videos alone at home, I suddenly heard a commotion outside. Looking through the window, I spotted Vera among the crowd. Judging by her movements, Vera seemed to be heading straight for my house. Sure enough, not 2 minutes later, the front door opened, and she walked in with a large group of people trailing behind her. Before I could even say a word, she spoke up first. "Claire. Today's the big day, college entrance exam results are out. All our relatives already heard Amanda did amazingly, so they wanted to come witness the moment together. But my house is too small to fit everyone, so I brought them here. It won't take long, is that okay with you?" She had already dragged everyone over, what could I say? Besides, I was curious myself to see how well Luna, now in Amanda's body, had done. Originally, I'd hoped Vera would check the scores alone so she'd have to face the blow without support. But now that she'd gathered an entire audience herself, there was no way she could avoid embarrassment. Suddenly, someone in the group spoke up. "Vera, isn't this the daughter of the family you worked for in the city?" "Yes, that's her. Let me tell you, this girl is incredibly smart. I wonder what she scored on the exam. And you still dared to bring us all here? Not afraid Amanda might get overshadowed?" Pfft. Vera scoffed and gave me a disdainful look. "You think I'd bring everyone here if I wasn't confident? Just you wait and see." Then she asked if she could use the computer in the living room. But before I could respond, the group had already swarmed around it. Apparently determined to slap everyone in the face, Vera didn't immediately enter Amanda's exam number. Instead, she turned her venomous gaze on me. "Claire, I'm not too familiar with the whole score-checking process. Why don't you go first and show me how it's done? Then I'll check Amanda's. Her intentions were clearly malicious, but I couldn't be bothered to argue. I stepped forward, sat down, and slowly typed in my exam registration number. Maybe the site was experiencing heavy traffic, because the page lagged a bit. After about 10 seconds, the screen finally refreshed. But to everyone's surprise, my results were completely blank, as if someone had erased them. Huh? What's going on? Is it too early to check the results? No way. The news said it's definitely today. Vera, now clearly anxious, shoved me aside and took the chair herself. I bet she did so badly the computer couldn't even process it. Now let's see my Amanda's. She pulled out her phone and, using a photo of Amanda's exam ticket, typed in the number. After another few seconds, the results loaded. To everyone's shock, every subject next to Amanda's name showed a glaring 0. This has to be a mistake. Vera blurted out in disbelief. The relatives exchanged looks. Everyone had suspected Vera was bluffing. Given Amanda's poor academics, scoring 700 seemed impossible. But no one expected a literal 0 across the board. Pfft. Someone couldn't hold it in and burst out laughing. Soon the entire room joined in. Vera, this is your 700 points? Where are they? All I see are goose eggs. You dragged us all the way here just to see Amanda's perfect 0? You've got some nerve, Vera. I can't believe I actually bought your story. And here I was wondering how someone as dim as you managed to raise a genius daughter. It was all made up. No. This isn't right. Vera ignored the mocking laughter around her and shouted in denial. It must be a system error. These aren't Amanda's real scores. She squinted at the screen, then turned toward me with wild, desperate eyes. Her scores didn't show up either. Clearly the site's overloaded and pushed Amanda's scores out. Come on, Vera, stop lying to yourself. Amanda's just not cut out for this. It's not the computer's fault. Exactly. This family's clearly loaded. Their computer is top of the line. You think it would glitch now? Actually, I heard before that if someone's scores are blank, it might mean they scored too high, and the system temporarily withholds it. Judging by the way she carries herself, I bet this girl aced it. Is that so? Wow, then congratulations, young lady. With scores that high, where are you planning to go, Tsinghua or Peking University? Thank you. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I gave a soft smile. In truth, the moment the screen loaded, I had sensed it. My score was likely within the top 50 in the entire province, which was why the system had hidden it for now. That was only natural, after all, I had taken the exam once in my previous life. On top of that, I had a solid grasp of the subject matter, so this outcome was entirely within expectations. Everyone shut up. Vera, who was sitting at the computer desk, suddenly shouted, startling everyone. Before she could make another move, the sound of commotion erupted outside my house again, followed by loud knocks at the door. A middle-aged woman, closest to the door, opened it. Claire. Congratulations. You're the top scorer in our province's college entrance exam. The first to rush in was Mr. Henry, followed by other school administrators who came in one after another. Some were clapping, others were holding certificates, and a few even had red envelopes. I had a feeling before the exam that you'd do great, Claire. You've always been the most reliable one in class. Still, I didn't expect such a huge surprise when the results came out. After offering their congratulations, it took about half a minute before they noticed the others in the room. Are these your relatives, Claire? Mr. Henry had just asked when he spotted Vera, who was still glaring furiously. Hey, aren't you Amanda's mother? From one of the lower classes? What are you doing here? It wasn't surprising Mr. Henry recognized her. Amanda was notorious in school for not studying, and her teachers probably complained about her often in the office. Vera had been summoned to school several times by teachers, so her face was familiar. No. That's impossible. How could this happen? Claire, how could you be the top scorer? There must be a mistake. After yelling, Vera suddenly seemed to remember something. She lunged toward me, eyes locked onto mine. Claire. You didn't drink that soup, did you? What soup? I blinked, pretending not to understand. The soup. The one I gave you the night before the exam. Oh, right. I remember now. I smiled calmly. I was worried it'd make me need the bathroom in the middle of the night, so I didn't drink it. Luna came over, so I fed it to her instead. Why, Vera? Luna. Luna? You fed that soup to her? Yes. I remained calm. Vera looked like she had been struck by lightning, her body trembled, and she collapsed to the ground, unable to support herself. It's over. Everything's over. In the end, Vera had to be carried out of my house. Her relatives thought she had suffered a mental breakdown from the shock and quickly took her away. After receiving rounds of congratulations, I saw everyone off and called my parents to share the good news. They rushed back from work immediately, full of praise. I received so many awards and cash prizes that my hands were sore. By the time I finally had a moment to breathe, it was already evening. I opened the door to go for a walk and unexpectedly saw two familiar figures outside. One was a relative of Vera's who had visited earlier, and the other, Vera herself. As soon as she saw me, she dropped to her knees. Claire, it was all my fault. I'm so sorry. Please, just tell me where Luna is. Why are you asking, Vera? Haven't you hurt her enough? Do you want to do something to her corpse too? No. I didn't mean to. I'm begging you, Claire, just tell me. That's my daughter Amanda. From her words, I finally heard the truth I had already suspected. I didn't know exactly how it worked, but I guessed that if one of the soul's bodies was too badly damaged during the soul swap, then that soul would dissipate along with it. I didn't answer, just let out a cold snort. Sorry, Vera, I forgot. I think I might have thrown her out with the trash. You won't find her now anyway. I turned and walked away, ignoring the cries and wails behind me. The next day, I heard Vera had gone mad. She kept screaming that she had killed her daughter and couldn't forgive herself. Then she jumped off a building. Her body was shattered on impact. I felt no sympathy. Compared to the pain I suffered in my past life, this was a light punishment. After Vera's death, I brought her daughter back home. She was no longer Amanda, the soul inside her body was Luna's. She couldn't speak but she was very obedient, very gentle, and still close to me. Vera's husband had died early on, so technically, Amanda was now half an orphan. I took her in as my god-sister and treated her like part of our family. My parents didn't know about the grudge between Vera and me. They only knew Vera had passed away. So when I decided to take care of her daughter, they were fully supportive. After all, Vera had worked in our home for quite some time, and there was some emotional connection. And with that, everything came to an end. It's a shame that in the end, I never did understand why Amanda hated me so much. Maybe it was because of her mother's influence. Or maybe it was just her own jealousy at work.